They thought Earth would mourn quietly. The empires, the coalitions, the syndicates, all those distant, calculating species that sat high in their silver thrones, watching through their long-range arrays as humanity's blue cradle burned, believed humans would bow their heads, bury their dead, and fade into the background of history like so many before them. They thought grief would silence the defiant species that had, against every logical prediction, carved a place among the stars in less than a century. They thought wrong. It began with the Grelthok Concordance, that bloated aristocracy of insectoid diplomats and mercenary fleets. They claimed neutrality, but their factories fueled the assault. Their trade routes carried the weapons. Their spies mapped Earth's defenses, or what little remained after the initial strike. The Zarn Collective followed, all glass-skinned intellects and shimmering bioships, broadcasting condolences while their fleets loitered on the solar border, waiting to pick over the bones of the fallen species. And, of course, the Veer Syndicate, shadow brokers of war, who whispered into the ears of every opportunist, promising wealth in exchange for human blood. In orbit, Earth's great cities glowed orange with the fires of war. New York was glass, Shanghai ash, Lagos a crater. But Earth did not break. Earth watched. Earth learned. Earth mourned, yes, but not quietly. For months, there was silence beyond the smoldering clouds. No launches. No broadcast. No diplomacy. The galactic powers grew bold, assuming Earth's silence was submission. They called it the quiet wake. They thought humans were done. But grief is a crucible, and in that silence, humanity forged something the galaxy had never seen. The first sign came from Luna. A shadow drifted across the far side, dark as void, ignoring the surveillance buoys scattered like glittering beads around Earth's moon. The Grelthok claimed it was debris. The Zarn assumed it a failed human vessel, aimless, adrift. But then it moved. It was not aimless. It was not broken. It was human. In the shadows of their shattered orbital industries, the remnants of Earth had built, quietly, ruthlessly, ingeniously. They had retooled mining platforms into shipyards. They had welded together the ribs of fallen satellites into something brutal and functional. And they had not built ships in the image of the sleek, graceful cruisers that filled the galactic lanes. They built weapons. When the first of the Skyborn emerged, that was what the galaxy would come to call them. The stars themselves seemed to recoil. Angular, matte black, edges jagged like broken glass and meteor-forged steel, the human ships cut through space not like explorers, but like executioners. No insignias, no declarations, just silence and the faint, defiant blue of Earth's atmosphere etched along their hulls like scars. The Grelthok laughed at first. They sent a detachment, a show of force, a polite warning cloaked in superior firepower. 43 ships, veteran crews, an entire battle group orbiting Mars. 43 ships went silent. Their last transmission, fragmented, panicked bursts of static and a single, unfiltered visual. A shape against the sun. Human. Standing, atop the skeletal frame of a captured frigate, a pressure suit glinting like obsidian, arms folded across their chest as the shattered remains of the Grelthok fleet drifted behind them. The galaxy had always underestimated humanity's greatest weapon. Not technology, not biology, but refusal. Refusal to surrender. Refusal to die quietly. Refusal to accept their place beneath the boot of older, colder civilizations. In the months that followed, the sky turned human. First came the raiders. Lean, predatory craft that struck at supply lines with surgical brutality. Then the reclamation fleets, built from salvaged enemy wreckage, patched with Earth's industrial scars, engines guttural and roaring. They didn't request permission. They didn't negotiate. They took. But it wasn't just the machines. The Veer learned that when their mercenaries tried to blockade Ceres, ships vanished, one by one, snatched from orbit by teams of humans in black armor, silent and precise. The Syndicate's private soldiers spoke in hushed, terrified tones of ghosts in the void, of humans who hunted without sound, who dragged them from their pressurized hulls and left their bodies floating, frozen and wide-eyed, as a message. The Tsarn attempted diplomacy too late. They sent envoys, their crystalline forms shimmering with apologies and half-hearted reparations. The human reply? A fragment of one of the shattered cities. A chunk of fused concrete and twisted steel, delivered via orbital drop, shattering the Tsarn embassy on Epsilon Prime into so much glass and fire. Human grief is not a quiet thing. It is a storm. It is an undertow. It is the hum of industry in the dark, the whispered blueprints passed from scarred engineer to sleepless soldier. It is the forge fire beneath the ice, the clenched jaw beneath the bowed head. And the galaxy had forgotten that. But now they remembered. At the heart of this resurgence was the Resolute, humanity's flagship, if it could be called that, a mobile shipyard, weapons platform, and carrier, stitched together from the ruins of Earth's orbital infrastructure, armored with plates stripped from enemy wreckage, bristling with railguns and missile silos, its engines pulsing with the fury of a species wronged. The Resolute did not hide. It hovered, visible, in high orbit, a silent monument to defiance, while waves of smaller craft swarmed from its belly like hornets from a broken nest. Every transmission it broadcast was brief, cold, and unmistakably human. We do not mourn quietly. We rise. The Grelthok Concordance collapsed within months, their fleets hemorrhaging to human hit-and-run tactics, their trade routes strangled, their diplomats assassinated with eerie precision. The Veer Syndicate retreated to their shadowed worlds, their network fractured, their mercenaries unwilling to face the nightmares drifting between the stars. The Tsarn Collective signed their treaties, their crystalline pride dulled by the knowledge that humans no longer asked for permission. They took their place at the table, whether invited or not. But humanity's revenge was not mindless. It was methodical, calculated. They did not scorch worlds or slaughter civilians. They dismantled fleet. They hacked systems. They turned the weapons of their enemies against them. And always, always, they reminded the galaxy. The sky now bore human silhouette. Against the moons of distant colonies, amidst the rings of gas giants, even in the shadowed nebulae where pirates once ruled, the outline of a human figure in black armor became a symbol of warning, of vengeance, of survival. No species watched more carefully than the Kavari Dominion, ancient and vast, who had wisely remained distant during Earth's fall. Their scholars whispered of a lesson old as the stars: never strike a death world and leave survivors. And Earth was a death world, its oceans violent, its storms monstrous, its predators ancient, its gravity merciless. And yet, from that crucible had emerged not just survivors, but a species that, when backed against the wall, did not shatter. They climbed. They adapted. They turned their grief into steel, their loss into engines, their fury into fleets. And when they looked to the sky, that vast, once unreachable expanse, they did not see defeat. They saw their rightful place. The galaxy had thought Earth's mourning would be quiet. But now, from the asteroid belts to the galactic core, from the polished halls of ancient empires to the darkest pirate havens, there was no quiet. Only the hum of human engines. Only the silhouette of human warships blotting out the stars. and only one undeniable truth. The sky had turned human, and the galaxy would never be the same.